Welcome to the Rooted Warriors, the podcast where the bonds of sisterhood are not just celebrated, but explored through laughter, tears, and everything in between. Join me and my two dearest friends as we dive deep into the roots of our own friendships, sharing stories and challenges. Whether you're looking for inspiration, advice, or just a good story, we're here to bring a piece of our sisterhood right into your life.
Dear Rooted Warriors, have you ever wished for a place where you could ask your deepest questions, find a little guidance, or just hear the words you need? Well, that's why we created Rooted Warriors, to be the women we needed when we were younger, offering the kind of support, honesty, and heart that helps us grow. Here you have a safe place to come as you are. We're here for those moments when life feels uncertain, when you're searching for direction, or when you need a reminder of your own strength and worth. Let's journey together, sharing what we've learned all along the way and helping each other become exactly who we're meant to be.
Hey tribe, this is Mighty Mo. I've got something powerful to share with you. For the entire month of February and March, we're going to come together for a cause that truly matters, helping women to rebuild their lives. Rooted Warriors and Relic headquarters are collecting donations for the Redwood Family Center here in Modesto. It's a safe haven for women who are on their journey to recovery, and we need you to help make a difference. We are women helping women, and now is the perfect time to give. If you're purging, cleaning out your closet, or if you just want to help, bring your donations down to the Relic headquarter office at 144 West Main Street, Suite A in Ripon, California. Drop-off times are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. What can you donate? Women's clothing, children's clothing, lightly used furniture, kitchen essentials, and household items. All of these things will go directly to the women and families who are starting out fresh. Each and every item that you give is more than just a donation. It's a lifeline. It's a fresh start. It's a message of hope. So tribe, let's show up. Clean out your closet, give back, and be someone who is there to support someone else. Drop off your donations today. Spread the word. Make an impact. Let's do it together. This is Mighty Mo, reminding you, feel blessed, be blessed.
Well, hello.
Well, hello, my sister.
Hello.
Hello, my mom.
Welcome
Hi.
back.
Yeah, we've been off for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Feels like a month. Every time we come back together,
Yeah.
it seems so much longer.
We have to get back in it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, so what's been up? What have we been doing?
Well, I just got back from vacation.
Oh,
How was it?
It was
Tell us.
fantastic. It was great. It was all it should have been and then more.
Girl,
It was-
the pictures, the waterfall.
Oh my gosh. It was great. It was a great experience. I'd do it 100 more times. There's not one complaint that could come out of my mouth. Adam has the most amazing family that anybody could ask for. And I feel extremely blessed to be able to have shared that kind of trip with them. And hopefully many, many more to come. But
It's that Filipino vibe.
oh my God. It's just, they're just, gosh.
They're so welcoming, aren't they?
Yeah, I feel just so blessed. So it was great. So
That's awesome.
yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I had a week. It was fine. It went good.
I had a week. Well,
Whatever.
and everything was in that
It was
one
great. It was
statement.
great. It was
I had
great.
a two-bird kind of week.
I had a two-bird kind of
Was that a double? Double bird kind of week.
No, it's going fine. It's going fine. I definitely need a vacation. I need a little breaky poo. I've been dieting. As you guys know, we talked about it
Girl.
last
Yeah,
podcast.
we did talk about this.
I've lost 15 pounds in 4.5 weeks.
Skinny little face.
Yeah, not skinny, but we're getting there. I'm really happy with my progress. I tried to do the shot. I was so unbelievably sick the first week. Nonstop throwing up, couldn't do it. I said, I'll just starve myself. So we're not doing this.
That works.
So-
So you're not on it then? So
no,
what are
so
you
I did
doing
it for 1 week.
instead?
So all I'm doing is low carb.
So low carb.
And
Okay.
the good thing is, and I guess you could say intermediate fasting as well, because I don't start eating until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hey, that's what I do.
So
Yeah,
I wait
right.
till 1, 8 o'clock's my cutoff. So in that time frame, it's only low carb.
Okay.
And I've been great with it. I feel really good. It's helping my arthritis. I've been going to
Mhm.
Wave here in Ripon for the IV
Shout
treatments.
out.
Yeah, shout out to Ronnie. What's up, girl? Just went there, got my immunity boost.
Thanks for the invite.
Sorry. I took Hannah. So that was good. That always makes me feel good. So yeah. So that's what I got going. What about you, Andy?
Well, I just got back from a family reunion with the
Nice.
Nevisons, and I know,
Was Nana there?
weird. My mom was there, but the Nana that I normally call Nana, so she passed away about 18, 19 years ago, and this was the first time they brought out her ashes to have her buried with my grandfather. So
Love that.
it was the very first time we've kind of had her in our presence, quote unquote, if that's the way you want to look at it, or really had a chance to think about it. So it was a heavy week, but it was so cool to be with my family. I gotta brag, man. I have such a cool family. I mean,
love that.
mistakes and all, we just are together, supporting each other and loving each other. And I mean, what more could you ask for? You know,
Nothing.
good and bad. That's just the way it is. I
Oh,
mean,
when you walk away and your cup overfloweth.
it really did. It was just full.
Yeah.
I knew I was supported in all the ways that I need to be. I tried to be there in my way for them in the same way. You know, as an adult, usually as kids, we never did things like that. But as we get older, it's interesting how we kind of bond and try to help that older generation. I don't know. Anyway, it was a really cool experience, but
Love that.
Love that.
I had a good time.
So today, not like any other time, our guests are always so special. But again, I need ChatGPT to help me find a different word other than special.
It's stellar. We have a stellar guest.
We have a stellar guest here today, Miss Victoria Godwin.
Welcome.
Yes,
Woo, woo.
welcome.
Hello, Miss B.
I'm happy to be here.
Victoria works for me as my general manager at Pizza Plus, and she has for, I'm going to say, a bit over 3 years.
Yeah, 3.5, 4.
Oh my God.
Get it together,
Since I was
manager.
17.
Lady.
Since she was 17.
Wow.
And so she has been with me. She's like a little daughter to me. I've watched her grow and blossom. So I'm very, very excited to have her here with us today. And we're going to talk about some mentoring.
Yeah.
And, you know, what this is all about is just women helping the next generation that we're raising up to become, you know, women who are strong and powerful and know themselves.
Yeah, maybe
you know.
skip some of the stuff that we had to try to figure out so they can just
Yes.
jump to the goods.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're doing it in such a positive way, not where we're breaking down men. And that's the thing that we're trying to teach the younger generation, that we can build ourselves without stepping on other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Honoring our part.
How was your week?
Yeah.
My week was good. It was pretty busy. So
Mhm.
I like when it's busy because it just keeps my mind going and doesn't give me too much time to be bored. I hate being bored. So
What does busy look like for you? What do you do during your week?
I usually work 10 to 5 on a typical morning, and then I'll go home and I'll play with my dog, I'll clean my house, I'll go fishing or
Ooh.
something that makes me happy, a hobby.
I like
Awesome.
it.
What kind of doggy do you have?
She was a stray.
Perfect.
Yes, showed up on my doorstep. She looks like a mini German Shepherd almost, but she's small. So she was mixed with something, I want to say like corgi, because she has these ears that just
So
that stick
cute.
up. But she's great.
And she just found you, huh?
Mm-hmm. You never know a love like that until you have your own personal dog that
Agreed.
is your shadow behind you all the time.
Yes. I agree with that.
What's her name?
Phoebe.
Phoebe.
Mhm.
Oh,
How cute is that?
Phoebes.
Yes, that's my girl.
Phoebes.
Mhm.
I love it. I love that. So where do you go fishing?
I have a little pond right near my house. It's called the Fowler Pond,
Okay.
and it was owned by previous people that I went to school with, and then the Donderos actually bought it. So
You just go there and you guys get trout there. What do you get in that pond?
bass,
Bass.
pretty big
Awesome.
ones too.
What are you guys fishing with? Lures?
Lures, yes, and worms.
Awesome.
Yeah, worms.
Mhm.
I just went fishing last week with my dad because he had a 5 bypass back in February.
Wow.
And so this was his first fishing trip again. So that's why I'm so interested.
Wow.
Because, you know, I've been fishing my whole life. So
So fun.
We should go
fact,
fishing.
that would be fun. Yes.
Last summer, Victoria went fishing and Adam was talking to her about fishing.
Mhm.
And he's like, you know, asking questions. Where are you going? What are you going to use? And she's like, oh, we're going to Pinecrest.
Oh, awesome.
And he's like, oh, give me a piece of paper and a pen. And literally drew her out this map of Pinecrest
Entire map.
of where exactly you need to go
Adam,
to catch the
he's
fish.
just a little,
Let me say, I caught many fish that day.
really,
And that,
he
Oh,
was
yes.
not
that
wrong.
exact spot.
Wow.
That is so
Wow.
I
funny.
still have the paper
Even
draw
like the
out.
drawings of like the hook and all this stuff on that
So
paper
funny.
plate. Yeah.
My daughter just went to Pinecrest camping.
Oh, it's
Loved
so
it.
beautiful.
Yeah,
I love
the pictures
going
were
there.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They really were.
They
Yeah.
have this hike that goes all the way around the lake, and it's just beautiful, breathtaking through all of it.
Awesome. So
It's
awesome.
amazing. So I think we should just get down to it.
Go.
Let's
Get down
go.
and dirty.
Do it.
So what would you say? We'll start off easy.
Easy
Um,
question.
Like some of the struggles that you face being in a leadership role, because you are a leader, right? We have several kids that work for us. Some high school, the majority now is college,
Yeah.
right? So what are some of the struggles you face kind of being a almost like authority figure when you are there? What do you think?
I would say definitely that having that many pairs of eyes on you, you have to hold yourself to a certain standard, or you're going to let your cracks slip through and they're going to notice them and think that that's okay. Like
Mhm.
things like when recently I had went through a breakup and me and him had broken up, got back together a few times. And one of my coworkers came in and I was upset. You know, I was coming to terms with breaking up again. And my coworker, and she was like, Victoria, like, it didn't work the last time. And I was just like, this is the example I'm setting for my girls.
Right.
My girls in the pizza parlors. Like, they can't think that that is okay. So just not only professionally, but personally, you have to put it aside, put on a nice face, and let them know that you go through things in life, but it's always how you come out the other end
That's right.
every single time. So just showing a good example, being there for people. A lot of them consider Pizza Plus to be like their safe space, where after work they'll just come in there and sit there and hang out and do their homework because that feels better than going home to them, which
Right.
it was the same exact thing for me. Since I was 17, I always used to come in right after school, would sit, I would just wait it out because I felt more comfortable at work than I did at home. So just creating that home, like safe space, family kind of feeling with coworkers in a small business is, I think, really important because you can go to any other business, but you're just another number. They don't think about you. They don't care about you. They don't care what you're going through, that kind of thing. So just showing a good example, showing up. 70% of life is just showing up.
It's so true.
Mhm.
So true.
I love that you're there for them that way. It's like being a big sister and yet being a role model and a mentor for them as well. But being able to like keep yourself in check at the same time while, I don't know, being that example for them.
While having to yell at them at the same time. Yes.
Right. So, and you're like, and I just made that mistake yesterday. Well, no, I just, it's really cool that you, that you are a key person in their lives like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think that you learned that, Victoria?
From the woman sitting next to me.
Word runs in the
From-
family.
Yes, my boss Gina. She's taught me a lot of things that that I didn't really have a mother figure growing up to show me. So she kind of just stepped in and showed me all the things that she learned and
Like what?
um
Not to put you on the spot, but just give me a couple. Just curious.
how to not let everything get to you in life. Sometimes you have to let things go.
Right?
Mm.
Not to be so thin-skinned.
Mm-hmm. She definitely created some tough skin in me for sure. And she just not sugarcoating things, but not being too hard on me.
Mm-hmm.
That was a hard balance. Hard balance I've tried to find my whole entire life, and she's very good at being like, "Oh yes, but Victoria, you gotta shape up here." So
Good. That's awesome. Well done, sister.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Way to
Good
run your
job.
business.
Do you feel like the kids there, do you feel like you're like mentoring them through their things? Because I know, just from the outside and kind of seeing the things that go on and the struggles that each one of them have in their life, do you think they look up to you? And do you think is that a comfortable place for you to be, like mentoring them, through it?
Yes, because I feel like you have set me up and prepared me to do that the best I could. Because when I started there, I was just 17, so I didn't know much myself. So I didn't know how to be a mentor, especially growing into the older ages. I didn't know how to be a mentor or how to give them guidance, but it's just things that you learn as time goes on, and you make your own mistakes and live through them, and then you share that advice with other people so they don't make the same mistakes.
You mean like Rooted Warriors podcasts?
Yes, exactly, like your guys' podcast.
So, Victoria, what do you think is the biggest challenge at your age right now? What's the biggest challenge for you?
I would say finding balance.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Between work and my pets and my job. Well, my job and work are the same thing, but personal friendships, relationships, family, priorities, finding balance and enough time to work on yourself, all of those things.
So how do you strive to find that balance?
Taking days off.
Gina, I need next week off.
Yeah, speaking of which, I was going to put in a request.
She just home based you.
When I have my days off, I just try and fit as much things that I can. If it's a Sunday, I'll fit all of the things I can to make me happy. I'll go to breakfast. I will go on a walk. I will walk my dog, or I will go fishing, and then a day on the weekdays that I would have off, I'll do like dentist appointments and house chores and cleaning up outside. So just finding a balance,
So
having
I think
enough time.
I think it's nice to hear that, right, guys? Because at our age, we're constantly struggling for life balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even those older than us have talked about life balance. It's something that we've heard so much.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't expect it from a 21-year-old, especially in today's world.
Right.
So not to scare you, but that's not going to change. Life balance is something that we're always striving for.
Right.
But I love how self-aware you are of it.
Yeah. And just like learning to cultivate it more
Exactly.
and more, because what you
Right.
just said, like little light bulb in my head went off. Like, wow, I should keep my Sundays to a Gina day.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't work. I shouldn't do anything.
Guilt.
It's the
Without
Lord's
guilt.
Day.
And I don't work in the same aspect as her, like going in there every single day. But Sundays, I'm usually like checking schedules, doing the schedule for the coffee shop, or doing my ordering, checking in on all my email. And like, maybe I should, like, Sunday is me day. And then one day during the week is going to be my work day, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, switch
Obviously
it.
more for me, but that's great little advice. And that's
I
great
like
that
it.
you
See?
can,
This is
you
why we
know,
brought you here.
yeah, I know. And it's great because not a lot of kids, maybe are self-aware enough to be like, wow, I need some balance.
I
Right.
think that
need
a
to
lot of
figure this
them
out.
don't have the responsibility.
I know a lot of
Victoria
adults that
either.
are like that.
Right.
I think that Victoria is definitely in a different class of 21-year-olds too. She has some real things here. She has to work. She has to provide for herself. So it's a little bit different than the average 21-year-old who's at college, right?
I always say the best employees are the ones that
Need to work.
need to work. They're not just going to go get a
Forced
job.
to work.
They are forced and they need to. Do you think maybe like your upbringing, like your past, like what you had to go, like maybe what you had to go through as a child and as a youth help prepare you kind of maybe to be a better worker and to be, now in the position that you are in? Do you think that helped that role?
Absolutely. Only because growing up, the only person I've ever had to rely on 100% is me. And
Right.
that's it. There's no, oh, I can go to my mom and she'll figure it all out for me. Or my dad is going to come save the day. There was none of that. It
Yeah.
was me, myself, and I just had to figure it out day by day. So all you can do is take it one day at a time.
We've talked a lot about like what you have going for you and things like that. And I'm just curious that now that you've recognized that step, and that is the first step is the step, right? Like you understand that, but what's one belief about yourself that you've been working for changing for the better that you're just kind of focusing on right now that you really wish that you could, it's just something that's really
That is such a good question.
convicting you.
I would say I used to be very like hyper emotional. Like I just I didn't know or was never taught how to properly deal with emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that has been my biggest challenge growing up, is just learning how to compartmentalize it and how to put some things aside and let them go. And some things deserve a second thought, but other things absolutely don't. So just like focusing on what's important in life and not forgetting to stop and smell the flowers sometimes and still enjoy it.
So we're talking about, you're so young already, but thinking back of when you were even younger, if you could go back and give that girl some sort of advice to prepare her for where you are now, what would you say to her? Because you never know who's listening, who is kind of feeling you and can relate to
Like
you.
14-year-old Victoria.
Yeah. Like what did she need to hear? Or what's some advice that you would give her to really kind of make her focus in on what was important in the end where you are now?
It's going to get easier. It's going to pass. Whatever you're feeling, if you're feeling absolutely horrible this day, tomorrow is a brand new day. So it's just every day waking up and wanting to become a better version of yourself, wanting to grow as a human, being like, yes, yesterday me was perfectly fine, but I want to be better today.
It's a little bit better every day, even if it's 0.0001%, just going forward, right?
So little things.
Right. You're awesome.
Do you besides Sunday, which I love, the self-care part of your Sundays, do you do anything else to help, with the self-care, with mental health? Because I know that we all struggle with mental health issues, right? Even at our age, we're still like, I'm going to shoot you and then ask questions later, right? Because when I'm mad, I'm 100% mad. When I'm sad, I'm 100% sad.
Yeah.
Not half sad. I'm sad, and you're going to know, right?
It's like balls out.
Yeah. What are some things you do to help, like, because I don't feel like mental health is talked about enough, What are some things that, and it's like any other kind of health, it's like, diet and exercise, but they're not like diet, exercise, and mental health.
It all goes together.
It's never talked about,
Like,
and
talking about it as a whole, kind of like all of the things put together.
it's like, why aren't we taught these things? It's like grieving. Yeah. Also, it's so unnatural for us. Like, we don't know what the hell we're doing, even when it comes to grieving. Are we doing it right? Is there a right way to do it? Same with like mental health. We're just not taught enough about, and the movie Inside Out is not helpful. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
Not when you relate to the guy that catches on fire all the time, right? That's me. It's extreme. I'm extreme the blue girl. I'm extreme the fire. I'm extreme panic. And we're just not taught how to deal properly
regulating
with these
emotions, and they're usually stemming from trauma.
Right.
And the trauma doesn't leave you in a position to be able to sort through it calmly. And until you do, you're always going to respond and overreact to the situation. But learning that you're doing it and accepting it and actually admitting it, because admitting it is a big one.
Right.
It's pushing the ego aside and saying, hey, I'm overreacting to these situations, and my response to these is what's going to dictate like how my future success is. So how do I respond in the most positive way possible for my outcome later? You know what I mean? Would it be to scream and yell? Sometimes it seems like it would be, but sometimes it's taking a deep breath in and taking a step back and just being real about it and finding the confidence to still talk about it calmly and yet compassionately and still honoring yourself and the other person at the same time without freaking out completely.
Right.
So is there anything that you do to help you along? I mean, having a job that's stressful, being responsible as a leader, you know, in your work environment, just everyday, day-to-day friendships, family. Is there anything that you do that helps you navigate through like mental health issues?
I would say journaling. I journal.
Ooh, that's such a Gina.
That's a great thing
Some things you can only form up here, and they only come out when you have a pen in your hand. And it's very hard to communicate those things. But suddenly when you're writing them down, they just come flowing, and you're the only person that has to read it. You know, it doesn't
Until you're
have
dead and they find it later.
No, you know what? At the bookstore, there's these books that say "Burn Me Later."
Okay, so check it out.
That's brilliant.
So-
Yes, they're little books with prompts, and you fill it out, and it says "Burn Me Later."
So great.
Yeah.
So
I've got to do that. We got to
Me
do that.
too.
So we're redoing our bedroom. Okay. So we had to get all the furniture out. So before all the guys came to move the furniture out, I want to empty all my drawers because I don't want anybody touching my chonies and on, right? So I want to get rid of all this stuff. So I'm going through one of my drawers and I find my journal when I was first dating my husband. You guys, it is the most embarrassing journal entries ever.
Give me an example. I have to know, Mo, right now.
Today was an okay day. I went and visited Gail. I told her about Bob Willie.
What about Bob Willie?
I am in love with Bob Willie. I hope that he'll see me when I go by and see Tice tomorrow. Do you think that he'll notice me? Look at me, silly me. Okay, bye.
What
the hell is
what
that?
kind of immature?
You were 17.
Yes, but who was this girl? Like, this is not
Innocence.
me. This is like before, like, and hellish shit, as you know, hellish shit happened to me before I was 17.
Right.
But there is nothing like life to age and jade you
Yeah,
into the
right.
woman I am now. But I'm like, God, I would give $5 million to go back into that young girl's mind.
What would you say to her?
What would you say? It's the same question I asked Victoria.
Yeah. What would you say?
And
to
then I want to know what you would say,
17-year-old
Gina.
Monica?
And then I want to know what you will say.
I would say, don't change for the world. Don't harden yourself for everyone and anyone else.
Because your authenticity is beautiful.
Right. And like when I read the whole journal, which really wasn't that long, it was a few months. I must have like gave up because it's like typical Mo. Like I have like a hobby of a day, you know, whatever. So as I'm reading it, I'm like, this girl is so sweet. She's really sweet. She really
Aw.
thinks that she's in love with this man that she's barely spoken to. And then she went on a date with him and she talked all about the date with Gail and Greg, and they went to Murphy's and they were down by the creek.
But
And
the hope she had in love, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's
And
just,
she just
to
had-
be honored too.
yeah, it's so special, right? Like our youth is so short.
And then children came along. I'm just
Yeah, ruined it all. No, but, and you know, I looked at my husband in a different way. And it was, you know, and that journal came to me at a very weird time because it's been a rough couple weeks. And it probably was purposeful that I found that, because where the hell did this journal come from? This is a newer dresser that I have. It's probably like 5 years old. Where the hell did this journal come from? Like, I have no idea how it ended up in that drawer. I have a whole area in my closet of all my special places
There are
and
no
special things.
coincidences.
So how did this thing end up
Somebody
in,
wanted to remind you.
Somebody.
well, God, obviously.
Right.
Because
You
Gail.
have to find it.
What is it
Gail
doing?
threw it there.
It was literally in my lingerie drawer. Guys,
Random.
hello? It makes no sense. But regardless, I was so, like, I was embarrassed by this journal. And I told Katie, I'm like, man, I hope you guys don't find this freaking journal. Like, I think I should burn it. And Katie's like, no, that's great. I'm like, no, I'm burning this thing.
You're like, no one shall ever know.
But yeah, anyways. So yeah, so journaling, great. Okay. I did it for a hot
see what
second.
happens? You
I did
suggest
it-
one thing
look
and
what
then
happens. I'm not doing another journal though. I can see where it helps though.
But maybe your 60-year-old self would like to go back and see what your, 40-something-year-old self would do.
No one wants to hear from her right now.
I know a good one. I'm just curious about this because at your age and the society that we live in now, which is so much different than where we were at your age, how do you know when you're actually with people who truly see you and respect you for who you are? Because that's a tough one, even where we are. I'm just curious because it just seems so masked even more with the young. You know what I mean? So how do you even know that you're with your tribe or with someone like that?
You don't.
Or is that the question?
You don't at all. Time will tell. Time going through hard phases of your life.
What do they show you? What do they show you that you know that you're with your people? Is there something that they do that you're like, that's
offer support? Loving unconditionally would be my biggest one.
Those are great.
You feel when someone loves you unconditionally without conditions, without if you do this thing, then the love fades. There's some people that you know that it's just not going anywhere at all.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, that makes it easy for, snip, snip. Anyway.
And do you believe in unconditional love?
Absolutely, because God calls us to love unconditionally.
Without a response.
This is my biggest thing with Adam is like when we argue or, he'll say with my faults, do you still love me? And I always tell him that God calls me to love him unconditionally. Like I cannot put conditions on it, right? When you love somebody, like you love me, like you love me, like I love you. I can't put conditions on our love.
And conditions and boundaries are two different things.
Completely different things,
100%.
right? But still, I don't love you if you do this. And I don't love you or I don't not love you because you did that, right? It's like a child. We love
I don't love your action.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah.
Well, and it doesn't mean that you can't hurt me or whatever, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to yank my love away or that I can just stop the love for you like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. That's a great point.
But it's a tricky area, right?
Yeah,
so like if your husband is not honoring you and so you're not going to give in on certain things that he may want to do, does that mean that you're not loving him?
It does mean you're being conditional.
You're being conditional.
Right.
So that's something that as women,
it can be a very gray area
because I don't know how many women I've spoken to over the years that they're mad at their husband or their husband's not being kind to them in other ways. So then they withhold their love, which to a man is normally sex. And then all of a sudden you are loving conditionally.
Wow. That's a great point.
So I think it's something that us as women need to think about because I want him to love me unconditionally, which means that he loves me even through a tantrum or he loves me even when I'm whatever. I don't want him to withhold that love from me. So what shows me that you love me is acts of service and telling me that you love me. So for a man, a lot of the times, and I'm not trying to generalize it, but I think that for men, a lot of the times it comes down to sex and attention. And sometimes words of affirmation. And touch. So we withhold that because we're angry at them. Right? Like, no. So then it sounds like our love is now conditional.
Well, I think even if you don't think you are, I think your response to like their behavior, I guess maybe it
So what do we call that?
I think that the difference is, especially with sex, like sex can be sex for men. It's just sex, right? It's something that they're doing. It's mechanical. They're like blah 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 like
good,
that.
And that's
it. Right. But for women, we don't see sex like that. It's a connection. It's
bonding.
It's bonding.
Yes.
It's an emotional thing for us.
Yes.
So for me to be mad at him and then him want that from me,
not going to happen.
I'm not connecting with you right now.
And there you go. That's the difference between you just said a boundary.
It's a boundary.
That's a boundary.
So that's what I wanted us to clearly define when we're talking about unconditional love. So you're exactly right. I want to have sex with my husband because I want to be close to him.
Because my body is open
feel
to
loved.
him now.
I want to feel loved by him and vice versa.
Right.
So I will give myself unconditionally every single night, multiple times if you promise to love me in that facet.
Where's that button at?
I'll just do it myself.
Oh my gosh.
Great earmuffs.
But it's not about sex to me, right? That's not what it's about. It's about the connection.
Right.
And there's no greater way to feel connected, right? I think that we can all agree to that, which is why we don't give it out freely.
Well, there's also nothing hotter than a man that knows how to provide a safe space for you like that.
I didn't know where she was going to go.
She said multiple times a night.
Multiple times a night.
I think that teacher says there's nothing hotter than a man that wants to.
No one's to provide a safe space for you as well.
Safe space. Sorry.
Safe
Boring.
space.
Boring. Let's go back to boring unconditional
right?
love. Okay.
So anyway, so let's move on to like relationships and men and how we go into love and intimacy and how we still honor ourselves and who we are and at the same time provide what they need and not lose ourselves.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
So if anybody knows this, let me know.
Yeah, I'm still working on
Anybody got
this.
answers for that? Let us know.
Someone write a book and you'll be real rich.
Real rich,
Right?
real fast.
But what we
How
can do
not
is
to
kind of
lose
compare.
yourself?
Yeah, just how not to lose. And what you were talking about earlier just has to do with balance. And so it's really hard to pull back and do balance when you're feeling that emotional about somebody. But I'm just curious, like in this day and age and where you are in your life, are you is that part of your future? Are you looking, do you have a
single.
boyfriend? Yes, I thought you're
Yeah,
single,
I'm
right?
single.
So
Recently single.
go in with that. Like, what are you looking for and what has worked for you? What hasn't? Like, how do you do this?
How do you navigate through
Yes, how do you?
singlehood?
At 21.
What is your roadmap? We're waiting. I'm just joking. I'm just kidding.
There really isn't one. Like I said, I take it one day at a time, and that's the best I can do for now. So I don't try to think too far into the future. But all I'm looking for really in a man is someone to be protective, not only of my home, but my mind, my heart, my feelings, all of those things included. Being protective isn't just with your hands or that you can move a big piece of furniture. It's about being able to protect her femininity, all of those things.
Word, girl.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
And you have been hanging out with Gina.
I know, right? So this is all stuff we've talked about. You sound like
Creation over here.
Wow.
What do you think about like traditional roles? Whereas, and I just saw one like on TikTok and it was a little map and it was like God, the man, the woman, and then the children, right? What do you at your age, being 21 years old, how do you feel about, letting a man be the head of your household, knowing like letting him lead you, right? And looking to him instead of always, in yourself or being the one that wants to lead your household and lead your man, or think that you're equal. You know what I mean?
or
and
being
not that we're not
offended by equal.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
we're just different.
Right. But you understand what I'm saying.
Yes,
Right.
I would say finding someone just as level-headed as me. I don't need a man. A man needs me. You know what I mean? So I've been doing it on my own for a while now, and I know that I don't necessarily need a man to provide for me and buy me all these things and take care of all the bills and that stuff because I've been doing it on my own for long enough. I need you to be there for me emotionally. Things that men have no idea how to do is what I'm looking for, basically.
You're creating stumbling
Well,
blocks.
what you're doing, yeah, right? Well, I feel like what you're doing
Let me
is
mentor you.
Yeah, right. Hold on, let's get down to the nitty. Well, what you're saying is that the population of men out there that are capable of that or have been shown or provided like a foundation for that isn't there, right? It's hard to find somebody that's like that. Do you find that the need, you don't kind of quote unquote need a man, you want a man, and when you do want him, is that something that stems from being hurt, or is there a chance that you would share equally with a man, with the right man, that you both need and want each other? It's just that you have to stay somewhat guarded. Is there any of that, do you think? Because I know that's how I was. I'm just asking.
No, I feel like there's always going to be a certain wall up, considering that I'm really the only person I've had to count on for a long time. So I will always have that wall up, being like, I'm still independent. Like, I'm still have you a foot away. I won't let you get any closer because then you have the opportunity to hurt me. You have the opportunity to make
trust
me.
issues.
So it is because you've been hurt.
But I
then,
feel
because-
like you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
yeah, there's got to be
Because
a vulnerability
there
You
has
have
to be
to be
vulnerable.
vulnerable.
with the
right?
right person. That's not
Right.
with everybody,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess it would be like meeting the right man and maybe like, because I've said it, right? I don't need a man to support me. I don't need a man to pay
Girl,
my
we've all
bills. I
said
don't
that.
need this. I don't need that. Well, okay, yes, I do. Yes,
right.
those things
No, but I
are
want
very,
a man.
very nice
Right.
because you know when somebody does come in and he's a man and he feels like his responsibility is to take care of you.
You want to be receptive.
He takes
to that.
pride
You want
in
to
that.
be
Yeah.
yes. He says no. I want to pay for this household.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's less stress for you, right? And that's my goal is to have you less stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
As long as there's not
Bring-
conditions to that.
Let
And-
that in.
That would just create a space for you to be independent. You can
Mhm.
still be independent. And that
100%.
is something that obviously you need a man to respect in you because you do want to be able to. That said, if he could provide an environment for you to trust him and his opinion and what is best for you as a couple, and just think of like the freedom that would provide you to be able to relinquish that kind of control because you actually have a man that knows basically kind of what's up.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think I have boys. She has boys. She has a son. So I think as moms that are raising boys that we hope that we provide a foundation for that. But that said, it's
hard
It's a
because
long
all of
time
us have
coming,
been
yeah.
hurt
Mhm.
and all of us have trust issues. And it takes years of a committed relationship sometimes to break down those walls. And then the second they do something, you put the wall right back up.
Mm-hmm.
And like I start adding, layers of cement to it, and more
Exactly.
brick and more and
Right.
more brick. And
was there a lack of grace there when you're doing that kind of like not forgiving or not like, or is it usually?
I become more and more monotone, more and more disconnected when I do it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm angry and screaming at you, I still care and I still trust you. When those things stop, that means you have taken all the trust and thrown it in the trash can.
Check out.
Exactly.
So it is a constant thing for those that have been hurt and that have, as Andy would say, the trauma of our childhoods and our young adulthoods. So it is hard to trust, but it is really important. And you don't want to ever say that you're not willing to do that. Because
God will go watch this.
yeah, and you'll never
You'll be like,
have
"Oh
a
my
truly
gosh."
meaningful relationship until you are willing to do that.
And it's a
And
lot
it's
of
hard.
self-work too.
A
Working
lot
on
of self-work.
Yes, it
who
is. You're
you
right.
are before you're getting into a relationship and trying to share that with someone else. You want to work on all
And you
your
may
little.
not. You may not even track that man until you are in that space. You know what I mean? And that's probably a great point that you brought that up.
Yeah,
but-
and you'll push away the good ones, the ones that will want to provide for you and help you and be a partner with you.
Mhm.
Because it's really important. That partnership is really important.
Mhm.
And it's not, like for us as Christian women, it's not about the man being the leader and we're whatever. It's not about that. We're a partnership. We just have different roles. And
Right.
sometimes those roles get twisted, like in our family, it's gotten twisted, at times. And so it's important to realize that that's okay as long as you're a partnership
Right.
and you have the same goal and that you love and respect each other through that.
Yes, and I think that growing up with a healthy traditional relationship would be beneficial.
For anyone. Yeah.
Growing into an adult.
yes.
So, I had a good example
Yes.
growing up. So when you don't have that,
It's hard.
it's very
Very
hard
hard.
because you kind of have to figure it out on your own, and you're figuring it out through people who you're not necessarily as close with. So,
Exactly. And it's easier when you see love in a house, when you see
Absolutely.
true love in a house. And, that's what we tried to provide for our children. But it's not easy. And it is definitely difficult. Like my husband grew up like Leave It to Beaver, right? So he, June and Ward were his parents and he was the Beav. And, mine was a completely different household.
She was Eddie Haskell. No, I'm just joking.
I literally was. But it was nice because I was so young when I got together with my husband that I got to glean that from his parents and see how their traditional household ran and appreciate it. And even if it wasn't what exactly worked for me, it's what I really wanted for my children.
yes.
And I really hoped and prayed that they would find that type of relationship. And it's hard because I'm an independent woman.
Mhm.
So when I see a daughter of mine not being independent and not standing up, I get upset. But yet it's literally what I wanted for her.
Right.
So it's a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when we grow up in the type of childhood and young adulthood that we did, it changes things for us, but we have to adapt and we have to soften.
And you want to overcome the, what's the word I'm looking
Like the cycles?
Yes, you want
You
to
wanna
break
break it.
the cycle and be for your kids what you never had.
Exactly.
That's Rooted Warriors.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. But like, last but not least, what do you want to say to all those
Yeah.
kids that are kids? You're an adult, but I mean young adults that are maybe not as far as you are, or maybe they're really lost or further in other areas, but in this area they just need help. What advice do you have?
Just keep going. Take it one day at a time. Don't forget to stop and smell the flowers every once in a while, and just do your best, because that's all you can do.
It's so great.
Oh,
Wow.
I love
Oh, I
Victoria.
love that.
She's a good one.
Thank you so
That's
much.
a good one.
This is Mighty Mo reminding you that all of you have the power to uplift and inspire one another. Let us keep nurturing, mentoring, and standing strong for all of the young women and young men in our lives. Until next time, feel blessed, be blessed.